Gene, what's the meaning of 4th of July?
That the flag was still there.
Talking about this particular topic around you makes me nervous, okay? Especially being on the air. So don't say much. But Juneteenth, Gene, is a federal holiday that was passed into law about, 5 years ago, Seth?
It's when Biden got in.
Oh, yeah. All right. So when Biden got in, which is going to make Gene even madder. So when Biden got in, Gene, not only on his first day did he close the pipeline, which is why gas is $6 a gallon, and open up the borders. That's why we have 10 million illegal immigrants in here. But the other thing that he did was he created a new national holiday called Juneteenth, and it's June 19th. And it's just like, it's a federal holiday. You know how, federal holiday where the banks are closed, the post office closed, schools closed.
But for who?
All government. I'm gonna tell you.
For everybody.
First of all, Juneteenth is for every American. Okay, it's because it's an American holiday, so every American gets if you're working for a federal agency or whatever, regardless of your religious belief or your ethnicity, Juneteenth is a federal holiday that you get off. Now, Gene, the meaning of Juneteenth, like every holiday's got a meaning. July 4th, like I can watch Gene. He knows American history. Gene, what's July 4th? What are we celebrating for July 4th?
4th of July.
No, I
What's it mean to you?
Gene, Gene, what's the meaning of 4th of July?
That the flag was still there.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, it was. And the flags being there means we did what? We won.
We won the war.
Right. And what war? And what country were we fighting with?
Europe.
Well, they're in Europe, but there was a specific country that owned America or thought they owned it.
German?
No, thank God. No.
Good guess, though.
Yeah.
No, hold on. We got sound effects for this thing stuff. Don't you let me? All right, hold on. So, Gene, hold on. Just for those scoring at home, Gene Lasker thinks the American Revolutionary War was with Germany. No, Gene.
Somebody guessed Puerto Rico in chat.
No, well, Gene doesn't need to be looking at chat.
I'm not looking at anything.
So, Gene, hold on. Gene, the American War.
France.
No, we were not. This is who owned our country and made all the laws, and we were trying to
get independent from
become independent and be our own country because we wanted to be able to say things about our public officials. We wanted to be able to say the leader sucks. We wanted to have free speech, and the country we came from it did not. So the American Revolutionary War, your first guess, Germany, your second guess, Europe, and your third guess, France. We'll get it. We'll get it.
Am I close?
Yeah, you're close.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're close. You're close. Nobody give it to them. We're going to get through it.
I don't know.
Well, Gene, think of other countries. The American Revolutionary War.
Did the Romans own us?
Did the Romans own us?
Can we give them a clue that they have the guys that dress like the Nutcrackers?
You'd only have to. Yes, they have guys dressing, but he's not going to know what that means.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I thought that was
All right, listen. I'll give you one clue. Gene, their Capitol building is called Buckingham Palace. Like
British?
What's that?
Are they British?
So we were all British in the beginning?
Hold on, what now?
We wasn't all British in the beginning, was we?
Yes, Gene. Yes, we was.
I was a Viking.
No, you were not, Gene.
You're a redneck Brit.
Gene's day's been ruined because he just found out that he might come from British. The majority of regular white people in America have a lot of British in them. It's just that's
England, English.
It's Great Britain.
Yeah,
England. Does England make you feel better, Gene? They call it England too. It's called Great.
See, then they got it on the first guess.
Well, no, Gene. Europe's not England. I mean, it is, but Europe's a block of states, Gene. That's like saying United States when you're trying to say Texas. Okay?
Continent.
Like, hey, man, where's the Cowboys located? Texas? No, I mean USA, America.
Yeah.
So anyway, Gene, we got through that. Okay, so that's what July 4th is. July 4th means we are celebrating our independence from who?
From the British Columbia.
Yeah, there you go. Close enough. And see, we hated the fact that there was a king, and they come over here. We want to be able to say the king sucks. Well, if you're in Great Britain, if you're in London at the time, when in the 1700s. And I mean, you go, the king sucks. They may take you out back and cut your head off.
Yep.
Like, for real. Like,
Yeah, well, them idiots is the ones that started taxation.
Well, sure, Gene. Those idiots are the ones that started taxation. We're going with that. So, Gene, I think you're kind of referring maybe potentially to the Boston Tea Party. Do you know what that's about?
Yeah, that's because we wasn't going to pay no more taxes, so we smashed all the boats.
Okay, and what were they? What product were they smashed?
Oh, tea.
And that's why it's called the what?
Tea? Yeah, the weirdos.
Okay, so the weirdo. Okay, so what is Memorial Day?
For the dead veterans.
Well, yeah. You're right. For those that fought for our country.
Yep.
Right. Now, what is Thanksgiving? Supposedly. I mean, supposedly. It's turned into... But when they...
Giving props to the Indians because they made it?
I don't know.
Kind of.
It should be more of a focus on that, to be honest with you.
Gene, you're right. Gene needs to rewrite the laws. I just want to make Thanksgiving to the Indians that made it, okay? Not that we came in, they taught us how to eat corns and stuff like that. All right. Well, then obviously Christmas Day can mean a lot to different things, but the standard, Christian belief is Christmas is what?
Hell on the mid-class people.
Hell on the mid-class because the toys are so expensive and the food.
And you're expected to buy everything.
Yeah, you
got a little bit of money.
Yeah, because Gene, and you're right in that. You're kind of rich. You're rich middle class,
right?
And that's where they really hit you the most.
That's the worst. Spot.
Right?
Does Gene do envelopes like the Diacos do?
No. Yes and no. Gene does stuff. I'm just saying Gene does nice stuff for Christmas for you. Gene doesn't like Christmas overall. Yeah. It's stupid. But Gene, if you were to find out what the Christian definition of Christmas Day is, what's it mean?
The birth of Jesus.
There you go. And then I think, Lemmy, the next one is President's Day, and I think that's pretty much self-explanatory.
That day sucks.
Didn't it used to be Christopher Columbus Day, and they switched it over to...
it was Washington Day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was President's Day was Washington's birthday.
Yeah, and I'll see. Then they had to. Then the other.
They got
40,
woke, Bubba. They had to include all the presidents.
Right. Then all the other 44 idiots that they're like, oh well, why is the George? Well, the reason why is because George Washington was the first. He's considered the father of our country, and he's the first bad mother effer to tell England to go get effed and fought for us. And so, you know what? None of you presidents afterwards, I don't think, really had to fight as hard as George Washington did. So that's why he gets his own day. I don't want Jimmy Carter in my President's Day, right?
No.
I mean, President's Day, I guess maybe that's why you can interpret it however you want, because there's been some real crappy presidents.
Well, they had Lincoln Day too, and then I think they just stopped wanting to give so many days off.
I think Lincoln Day turned into Juneteenth. Now, we're going through the clock, and we're going to end up at Juneteenth. So I think Lincoln Day kind of might have turned into Juneteenth, because Lincoln Day, people think, no, Gene, Gene, please be careful. Think up, please, okay? I don't want you to say the right word. I want you to be super, super, super friendly and super responsible in your answers. But Gene, do you know what Abraham Lincoln is most noted for?
Yeah, freeing the slaves.
There you go. Perfect answer. So that's what he's noted for. And so, since that's kind of, I think, why we celebrated Lincoln's birthday for over all the years. It was in recognition of him. Was it the 16th Amendment? I know it was an amend. It was an actually U.S. constitutional amendment, and I know maybe I should ask. Hey Alexa, what amendment is the freeing of the slaves amendment?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Somebody.
Is it the 13th?
I don't know which one it is. Somebody. So this is where I need Chad or Lummy's Bing to come in and help me out. By the way, did I tell you our Cash App is back up?
Yeah.
My God. All right. Okay. So anyway,
13th.
13th. So the 13th Amendment is what Abraham Lincoln passed as the President of the United States, abolishing slavery. And that's what he usually was, celebrated for. So then we're like, well, Abraham Lincoln, it's just one dude. And, African Americans being slaves is a far greater thing than just one guy. It's a culture. And it's just slavery was really a bad thing. And it's just, we have to give slavery its own holiday because it was so bad and it was just so horrible. Well, why can't we just leave it with Abraham Lincoln? He I think it kind of goes it kind of goes together. Peanut butter and jelly. Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves, it kind of went together.
I'm not being a jerk, but when it was Lincoln Day, it was because of Lincoln's birthday.
Oh,
June 19th.
Okay, well then
Lincoln's birthday's in February.
Okay, all right. So so Lincoln Day would just be his birthday.
Yeah,
which is kind of stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Like Lincoln Day should have been because he was the inventor of the 13th Amendment. That's
Correct.
what it should have meant. But whatever. So slavery.
How many amendments do we got?
I think maybe 30.
We just keep adding to them, to the bylaws?
Oh yeah. When
27.
We have 27, and we should go through some of them. Like Gene, I'm sorry, Lummy. What's the 27th Amendment? What's it about?
It is congressional compensation.
Oh, how much they pay themselves?
Yeah.
What a bunch of crooks! Your politicians are crooks when they have to put an amendment in as to how they probably have. It's probably like every 4 years, Congress and the Senate automatically get like an 18% raise or something like that.
I think you're right.
And
Yeah,
it's like and it's law, bitch. So it can't be part of any type of budgetary cuts or anything The new president can't roll up in there and say, I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to start whittling down some of this congressional and Senate salary. Nope. Nuh-uh. We have the 27th Amendment that says you can't, bitch.
So only 27 amendments, but it says here more than 11,000 have been proposed.
Oh, yeah. They've proposed everything. Anytime somebody's mad about something, I'm like, I'm going to make it a U.S. constitutional amendment. Because once you're a constitutional amendment, you are locked in. I think it's super hard, Lummy, to take back amendments.
It is.
I'm sure there has been some that have been rolled back. Back there might have been an amendment that you could have slaves, right? So then, I don't know that they did, but if they did, they'd have to have, listen, we're getting ready.
Only one amendment has been repealed.
Okay, there you go.
And it was about prohibition.
Oh, they actually were so mad about alcohol in the 20s that they made an amendment about it?
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong? Alcohol. What's wrong with that?
Well, prohibition during the Great Depression after that.
I know, but
they're trying to save money.
Why did they make alcohol illegal? Who did it benefit other than the bad guys that would run it?
The churches.
Is that what they thought it was?
Normal people
Yeah.
benefited. So you didn't have an idiot next to you on 6 beers.
Bunch of losers.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
It'd be like, going someplace with you and everything's cool.
Right.
I give you 6 beers.
Right.
Nothing cool after that.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
alcohol adds idiots.
Prohibition was mostly
they called it giggle juice back then.
Used to quell people, because most people can't handle their alcohol. And I think that, man, during when drinking was legal, I don't think there was any rules to drinking. I think you could be like 6 and drink.
They said at the time they had enacted prohibition to protect individuals and families from the, quote, scourge of drunkenness.
There you go.
So after World War I, they wanted to save grain as well. There's a couple of reasons here.
Ryan from Ohio, 25 in the Venmo.
Intensive religious revivalism of the 20s and 30s.
So anyway, Gene, one that did.
So is grain, bread, that same thing as
it's like beer? Hops and wheat and barley. They put in beer.
We can grain can do either one, make a beer or make bread?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gene, Gene, you really are learning a lot of stuff today.
I didn't know grain could do that.
You learned about, you learned about where, like if somebody was to ask you, hey, Gene, who are we fighting in the American Revolutionary War?
What does it matter, dude?
No,
We're not fighting them today. It's not coming out your pocket.
Hold on, that's
it's not going to slow you down from getting to work. And it's not going to lower the gas price. So go to work. And don't worry about them.
So that's your answer to that guy?
Yeah.
That's a good stock answer, by the way.
What does it matter?
The train's off the track. Start jacking.
All right, so Gene, we got to go to words, but I'm going to tell you what Juneteenth is. And can you get the actual?
Still ain't told me?
Well, no, I haven't. We've skirted all around it.
We went down an amendment rabbit hole.
Well, we did, but it was. We needed Gene.
Gene
didn't even know what Gene didn't even know what 4th of July was. Gene, what's 4th of July? July 4th. Lummy, is there an actual definition of Juneteenth? Like, can you pull up the wiki of Juneteenth so that you can read it to Gene factually instead of how we interpret what Juneteenth, how we interpret it, but instead how it's actually been written to be.
Correct. Yes.
Now, is it an amendment?
No, it's just a national holiday.
It's just a national holiday.
A federal holiday.
It's a federal holiday. Okay. And in order to roll that back, they just have to vote on it like in some kind of congressional hearing or some nonsense, right? But they don't ever take back holidays once they give you one, right?
Normally not.
Right. So what is, Gene, this is the answer to your question, Gene.
All right.
What is Juneteenth?
It is celebrated annually on June 19th to celebrate the ending of slavery in the United States. That's it.
That's all it says.
That's all it says.
Okay, there you go. That's what Juneteenth is. The celebration of the end of slavery.
I mean, it goes down to why, because, when the Emancipation Proclamation, Texas was the last state, and that was on June 19th. Texas freed the slaves.
Oh, so the Juneteenth was the slaves had actually been, the up north slaves had already been, up near New England and, through the Carolinas and all that. Mm-hmm. Those slaves were freed, quickly right after Lincoln signed, the bill.
Yep.
But it took over 2 years for that news to come, because that the white, news people didn't want, if you didn't they didn't want to get that news out quickly, and they didn't have the internet or nothing like that. So if something happened in Washington, D.C., it could take a year to get down to Texas.
No, you're right. You nailed the time, too. It was a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. So federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865. They took control of the state, and they ensured that all slaves would be free. Yeah,
they kept, telewiring down to Texas saying, hey, slave owners, you're supposed to let your slaves go.
You're breaking up.
Man, you're breaking up. Man, we can't hear you. For real, that's what they were doing in Texas. And so finally, Lincoln or one of the presidents had to send the U.S., Pony Express in there, literally the cavalry. When they went in horses and, and had to go in there and to Texas and tell all the slave owners, let your slaves go. You've had them for 2.5. I don't know. Did they charge the slave owners with any type of crime?
No, because they just didn't know.
Well, no, they didn't. I guess you could just say that, right? Yeah. I didn't know.
No one told me.
Nobody ever. I never go off this plantation. I just go to town to get some whatever. And
I didn't vote for that. Not working in this town.
Gene, are you
Sorry,
the
it took you 2 years to get here. See you later.
Succeed, go back to Mexico.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
We were drunker than Nick Hogan's wife when we put this thing together. BubbaArmyHQ.com. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.